Hi there. This is Amanda. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about our celiac journey, mine and my 15-year-old son, Jonah, who um, unfortunately was just diagnosed with celiac after about a year of chronic symptoms: gut pain, hives, psoriasis, um, difficulty swallowing, a forever coughing, for a year straight. After getting the diagnosis, we began learning how to truly support his healing with our products. And we're still learning because it's only been 2 months or so since he was diagnosed. But tonight I'm going to share a little bit about what celiac is, our experience, and how we're using doTERRA products to support our journey. So thanks for being here. Celiac is actually an autoimmune disease. It's triggered by gluten, which is found in wheat, barley, and rye, which is in a lot of things. And it causes the body to attack the small intestine, which leads to poor nutrient absorption and often widespread symptoms like skin problems, brain fog, fatigue, stomach issues, etc. Um, we actually didn't even think about celiac disease as an issue with Jonah. We ended up finding it because he was having trouble swallowing, and so he had to get a scope. And when the doctor went in to do the scope, she found that his gut was like completely inflamed, just like beyond. And she, at that point, said, "Oh, I think I'm 99% sure he has celiac disease." We had to take a blood test in order to find out. And of course, that blood test came back positive. So if you're curious about celiac or if that's something you have, it is actually really simple to diagnose through a blood test. We just had no idea that that might be it. The doctor was really surprised because she was like, "Oh, this is a 6'1", 210-pound healthy boy. He's not having trouble eating, nothing like that at all." So we just didn't even think about celiac, but there it was. And once we found out, it kind of made sense, all of the symptoms that he has had for the last year. Um, and it's really about more than being gluten free, because a gluten-free diet is essential for somebody who's celiac, but healing takes more than just removing your gluten. You also have to reduce the inflammation that's occurred over time, heal the gut lining, which for Jonah, it's like shattered. So it's taking a lot of time for his gut to heal and rebuild his immune system, because as many of you know, when your gut's unhealthy, so many other things are too. And if you don't take care of those underlying things, I know those symptoms will linger. So we want to try and get him healthy as soon as possible. So we are trying to do all the things, um, which we'll talk about today. So when the gut is inflamed or damaged, it affects everything, which we've talked about many times in our community. It can wreak havoc on your digestive system, nutrient absorption, your immune system and response, your mood, and that can explain many of the lingering symptoms that people experience if they are um, celiac and have already removed gluten. You still have symptoms for a while, and that's kind of where we're at, because we've removed gluten for over a month now, but he's slowly healing and getting better. He's not 100%. and that's okay. He's getting better. Why doTERRA? Well, of course, because our products are high quality, they're third party tested, they're natural, and most are gluten free. And we'll talk about the ones that aren't. Um, always check labels. I honestly have never been a label checker until 2 months ago. It takes a lot of time, but it's worth it. So, first and foremost, and this is a blend that we use regularly anyways, is digestin. Not just the oil, but also the soft gels support um, Jonah for his any kind of stomach pain, bloating, nausea, all things that come hand in hand with being celiac. Um, Really important that I honestly didn't understand until really diving into this is that celiac isn't um, you're not allergic. So, people say, oh, it's an allergy. It's not an allergy, it's an autoimmune disease. So, just making sure to know and understand that because I certainly didn't. Some ways that we use this regularly are just drop in his belly button, usually before bed. Um, it's got the ginger, the fennel, that peppermint that soothes and calms the digestive system. He also takes the soft gel daily. And this is to support his system as it gets better. So he's doing it a little bit more than he normally would on a regular basis, and that's for all of the oils that he's taking. Poor guy. He's a good thing you can't overdose on these things because he's been taking a lot. We also will put it in like warm water or tea as well. Secondly is PB Restore. So this is really important because it's rebuilding that healthy gut flora and it protects the live strains. It has the double capsule to protect the probiotics until they actually reach the intestine so that which is super crucial after the gut damage he's had from being celiac. So this is normally, I would take once a day. I give him 3 a day right now, probably for the next few weeks. And then we'll step back once he's feeling 100%. We also are using supplements to support. The main ones are turmeric, copaiba, DDR prime. Turmeric supporting his inflammation, obviously. So he's taking that daily. Also, copaiba, which is supporting his system by reducing inflammation and soothing his body response. And DDR prime, which is a really powerful blend that supports cellular repair. So that's really important right now. It's ideal for his long-term gut healing and reducing inflammation. So heavy on the things that are supporting inflammation. In addition, we are using Adaptive, the bone nutrient complex, as well as Myco2 Max. So the Adaptive really is helping manage his emotional load because it's kind of crazy all of a sudden being celiac. It changed a lot of just his diet and his daily things. He loves food, so he loves sweets. So it's all good and it's important to make this change, but it's hard for a 15-year-old. So Adaptive is supporting that. And um, his adrenal glands are also kind of shot in this whole scope of things. So Adaptive supports that as well. The bone nutrient complex, this is supporting him because he has a low vitamin D, and this is because his body hasn't been able to take in anything because his gut is such a mess that it's not able to absorb it. So this is supporting his immune system. It contains vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, as well as other essential nutrients. So I thought this was really important to add to his support. It's not something he was taking regularly before. And then in addition, Mito 2 Max, which is a caffeine-free energy blend, and that's helped restore his stamina. It supports that mitochondrial health and improves focus without the crash of a stimulant. He's an athlete, so for a kid who is working out early in the morning and then has practice at night, that like 2 o'clock, he's crashing. So adding the Mito 2 Max has been really helpful with that. So those are all the additional supplements he's been taking. This is kind of a sample of what we're doing. In the morning, PB Restore, 3 of them, turmeric, usually 2, copaiba, 1, and we also are doing lemon in his water. Midday, he'll take digestion soft gel, usually just 1, and then a Mito 2 Max as well. And then in the evening, he's taking his DDR Prime, the adaptive, and then the bone nutrient. Another thing we've been doing to support his system is called Symphony of Cells. If you haven't heard of it, it's a technique that involves applying essential oils in layers along usually the spine and feet. We've been doing the digestion and the inflammatory protocols, which use various oils that support those systems. And we've been doing it 2 to 3 times per week because we're trying to detox him. Once a month is what we would normally do. Like if my kids aren't feeling well or things like that, sometimes I'll do like the hormonal one for myself. But in this situation, we are doing it several times a week. Usually I do off and on. I'll do the digestion one and then the inflammatory, just back and forth. At the end, there'll be a QR code that you can get to the PDF of the Symphony of Cells book, which has all the protocols and information. But this is just kind of an overview. These are the different ways that they can be applied, the oils. So aromatic by sniffing over the heart and chest, over the liver, the neck and shoulders, and then the entire back, which is down the spine, which is what mostly his Jonah's is, and hand. Intensify, it's just means adding water. So usually I'll have him shower after the protocol so that it steams the oils, etc. You don't have to do it. That's just something we do in the end. So these are the 2 protocols that we're using, the applications, the digestive and the inflammatory. So you can see some of the oils that are used in each of those protocols. Obviously, inflammatory are oils that are supporting the inflammatory systems, and digestion are all oils that support digestive health. And this protocols both are along the spine and feet. It's a really good way to connect with whoever you're giving the application to, and just know that he's getting the exact oils he needs to support those 2 things. I'm a rule follower, so having it set out for me is really helpful. If I just, had to apply these things um, throughout the day, it would be really hard for me. But just being able to kind of do it in this layered manner is helpful. And then in addition, we've been doing protein-rich recipes. These are just a few options that we've done. He can eat any kind of meats, legumes don't bother him, so he's good in that, but I was definitely nervous, especially because he's a growing boy who plays, sports, that he was getting enough protein. So, just being really cognizant of what he's putting in his body and making sure he's getting enough protein to give him, the energy he needs throughout the day. We often were using the, um, protein smoothie, but it bothers him. So, and we found out, because we tried it to see what would happen, and he didn't feel good. So, making sure to find to use a plant protein powder, for when you're making your vanilla protein smoothie, and then we usually just add a couple drops of oil of his choice, and then cooking with different oils to just enhance those recipes. So these are just a couple that we've tried. A few things to be aware about. Those products with wheat are Microplex VMZ and the vegan Microplex, which is part of the daily um, soft gels that you would take if you're not using the green drink, and Terrazyme, which is something that I was giving my son regularly because it's supposed to break down food. And unbeknownst to me, it has wheat. I wasn't giving this to him after I knew he was celiac. I actually emailed to Tara to find out what things we needed to be aware of, and these were the things they sent. And then, of course, Zendocrine also has it. It is labeled, but it's very small. Most essential oils are gluten free, but always want to check labels. Some common questions: is there a cure for celiac? No, unfortunately, it's a lifelong disease. There's no pill you can take. But that's why it's so important to use our supplements and oils to support your system to heal and to stay well. And always remembering that not all doTERRA products are gluten free. So make sure you always check your ingredients. That's not something I normally was doing. I'm not an ingredient checker, and now I have to be. There's an app that we all have on our phone now. You can easily check the products by taking a picture of the QR code thingy, and it'll tell you if it has gluten or not. We actually found with Jonah that, and the doctor said this might occur, he was feeling a little bit better, but not great after about 3 weeks of no gluten. And so doctor said you need to also cut out the dairy, which he doesn't know I did because I'm just using vegan cheeses. Um, Eventually, he'll find out when he has to be making more of his food on his own. But basically, I just rid our entire house of anything gluten or dairy because otherwise he's going to eat it because he's a kid. So, he, with that addition of not having the dairy, has definitely improved. So, doctor said he might not have a allergy to dairy necessarily, but because his gut is so inflamed and unable to process what he's eating, that dairy could easily be a problem right now. So taking it out and then trying to reintroduce it later on when he's feeling a lot better is what we're going to go for. Honestly, there's a lot of options for gluten-free, dairy-free in the last 5 to 10 years. So I feel prepared in that way. it's expensive. My pocketbook has definitely felt it, but, there are a lot of options at Costco, which is helpful. Sorry, I went on a little tangent there. Just a few final thoughts. There's definitely ways that I've described, plus others I'm sure, that you can support your body naturally. There's no pill you can take to fix this from the doctor. So, just being on a journey of healing and knowing what's best for your body and supporting your body with the products that are going to help with inflammation and etc. Celiac is really hard. I have a friend who's celiac, and so when I found out, oh my gosh, he has celiac, I kind of lost it in to myself because I didn't want him to freak out because I know how hard it is. So, you honestly don't know until you're doing it, but, I know this is what's best for him, and if this is gonna make him feel better, it's worth it because he's gone years, honestly, not feeling well. So, just can't wait for him to feel 100%. Um, and, like today is his first sleepover in months because it's kinda like having a toddler and having to bring them to daycare packaged with all of their things, like, you have to send all of the food and snacks and the water bottle and the and the fork and the paper plate because the cross-contamination. So, there's all these things that come up that you have to think about. So, if you know somebody who's on this journey, or if you are on this journey and you have questions, feel free to reach out. I don't know it all, but I'm learning as I go, and and I feel well equipped and that I have what I need to support him in this transition. So, thank you, and I hope you learned something. And please reach out if you have any questions or concerns.